Uh, Recording is started. Let everybody know they're being recorded. Everybody's aware and know. Any objections, let me know now or forever hold my peace. All right. Let's start. My company is Excella Technologies. Our company, we are a collections technology firm, and we drive collection agencies. So we have all of the collection agencies are wholly owned by us. We were founded in 2018. Right now, we service 250 management companies, over 5,000 associations. We have 65 employees stateside, clients in 40, actually, it's 44 states. This is an old presentation. We've never been fired. The 5-star Google rating, it's not true. We have a 4.9 star. There's always one guy who'll give you 1 star. And most important that you should know about this, and it's important for the board, a lot of people get involved in the community association industries, third-party vendors for this or for that, and they do it on a shoestring. We are very well capitalized, and that's how we're able to deploy operational excellence to you. All right. We have integrations with all of these companies, and there's your Vantica right there. All right. So right now, what do you do for collections? Well, the traditional way is to take a delinquent file, send it to your attorney, and the attorneys are one-trick ponies. They do not do collections. They do security interest enforcements. They will lien, they will foreclose. They will not do any proactive outreach to the association. They will not call your owners. They will not advise them. They will not tell them what the rights are, what the consequences are. They'll just lien, send a couple of letters. The next thing you know, they're in foreclosure and they owe a lot more money than they thought that they should, because legal fees are expensive. We have an online portal, which I'm going to be showing you. We have the technology so that all the activity is a history, not a mystery. Oh, yes. Can everybody mute their phones? Everybody give your phone a little mute there, except for me. Upper right-hand corner, you'll see it. All right? Thank you. All right. We have Maxine wants to come in again. All right. We have reporting, automatic reporting, again, it's all about transparency. It's all about knowing what's going on, and we'll show you what the reports look like and how they come to you. Our integration, as I mentioned, with Vantica, and although we do not like, Mike, I think somebody's asking you to mute your phone. Could you mute it, Mike?
I'm right on my computer. I'm not on my phone.
Oh, okay. All right. Lower the volume then, maybe, of this microphone. Oh, no, you won't be able to hear. Oh, you got it. You muted it. You're good. Okay, can you hear me? Just nod yes or no. All right, good. Again, we don't like foreclosing on units, but we don't take it off the table. And that is an important thing. We will do whatever we can to engage an owner and recover, and we're very successful. And but if it gets to a point where we have to take legal action, well, we'll talk about that. So we're merit-based. So what does that mean, being merit-based? Well, first of all, I want to make it very clear to the members of the Finance Committee that we do not take any percentage of the monies that we received. It's not a contingency-based, it's merit-based. Contingency-based means if I recover $1,000 of your money, I get to keep a certain percentage. This is not allowed in the community association industry because the money that's owed to the association are assets of the corporation. Rather, we charge fees that are passed through to the delinquent owner, and they are as follows. $400 for the underwriting and onboarding, and I will show you what that all means. Your governing documents allow you to charge late fees. Your governing documents, if you've read them, allow you to charge late fees in the amount of 10% of what the annual fees are. And I'm looking at your annual fees are about the $1,500 or $1,200 or something like that. Would that be right? Correct? Okay. So that would be the annual fees. And you can only charge it once a year. because you're an annual basis, but you may be cut up into months. And then the lien recording. Should we need to protect the interest of the association, we will cause a lien to be filed, and that will cost $400. That's passed through to the delinquent owner. The association does not come out of pocket. We're so confident that we're going to recover our money and recover your money that we will pay for the attorney and at our risk. Now, that's it on the charges. No junk fees, no other garbage charges. Confuse people. However, there are two other charges that you may want of certain services. Should somebody petition the bankruptcy court for protection under Chapter 7 or 13, we could do a bankruptcy proof of claim for the benefit of the association. You don't need an attorney for that. We do that. Should we get to the point where we need to discuss foreclosure, we could do a pre-foreclosure analysis. Both those fees are $400 and charged to the association and then passed through to the delinquent owner, okay? So let's get going with the underwriting process. Well, since we have Vantica, we will pull down all your ledgers and they will reside on our portal. And then from there, you can tell your management company to launch units into collections. When they are received by us, the permission to move forward on a file, we will review your governing documents. We will review the ledger. We will make sure that we have an accurate ledger. And then from then, we start our underwriting. The first thing we're going to do is go to the property appraiser site to make sure that we have the right principal, the person who owns the property. Very important that we have that, because we don't want to start chasing after somebody or put a lien on somebody and be guilty of slander of title. The next thing we're going to do is access the court records, and we're going to pull down the mortgage and we're going to pull down the deed. The mortgage is very important to us because what we're going to do is we're going to see how much they've paid down, and we're going to do a comparative market analysis. And at the bottom of my funnel here, I'm going to have how much equity they have in the unit. Now, I know that your community is started at 2016, or at least that's when the articles of incorporation were done. I don't know when people started buying and moved in. So this is not like an old community where people have been there for 40 years and a lot of people have paid down their mortgages. So I don't know what the equity situation would be, but maybe prices have gone up since they started. I know they've gone up since 2016. We're going to run a skip trace on the debtor, find out who they are, where they are, contact information, everything we need to know to engage and work with them. The only thing that we're not bringing into our system are your social security numbers. We do not collect, we do not keep, we do not maintain social security numbers at all. I see a little chat. Anybody there? Wait a minute, this is feedback. Can everybody? Okay, we got it. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. One of the things we're going to find out in the skip traces is the owners in bankruptcy. If they're in bankruptcy, we shall act accordingly over the whole. If the owner has passed away and they're in probate, we will work with the probate court. We're always very cooperative. A very interesting thing that we do is we find out who has the mortgage or who's servicing the mortgage. Maybe you don't know this, but when somebody defaults on their assessments in a community association, they are in breach of their mortgage. And in almost every case, the owner can be reported to the mortgage company. They're in breach of their mortgage, and the lender wants to know about this because it's very much like taxes and insurance. If you let your insurance lapse, your lender will know about it because the insurance company will tell them about it and they'll pay for it. Same thing with the banks. If there's equity in the unit, probably the banks will definitely put heat on the people, but they also are known to pay. Every day we receive about 3 inches of checks from banks because they want to protect their lien interest in the property. All right. Now, once we have everything done, we will start our collections effort, and I'm going to show you what the process is. Very linear. We start with what is known as an FDCPA validation notice or a collection notice, advising the principal or advising the person involved here, the debtor, that they have been sent to a collection agency, that the community association has referred their file to a third-party collection agency. I do hope indeed that that your management company tries very hard and sends out one letter or two letters or courtesy letters. But after a while, when you decide that the courtesy letters aren't working and you send it to us, well, then we start with the FDCPA letter. This really concerns people because now it's not the management company. It's not even an attorney bothering them because they don't understand. Many people don't understand what ramifications are. They do not know that the association has a security interest in the dues. They don't know that they can be foreclosed. You ask people, go around your community, ask a civilian, say, can the association foreclose on you if you don't pay your assessments? They'll say, only the bank can foreclose. So that is part of it. When they see an FDCPA notice, they know that it's getting real. And they get very concerned because collection agencies can affect people's lives. And in that period of time, the first 30 days, we get about 20% of the people ponying up. All right. We cannot call them. We cannot engage them unless they call us first. Federal law and Delaware consumer protection law requires us to be quiet for 30 days. Actually, we're silent for 38 days to take into account for weekends on both ends of that number. We have a culture of compliance in our company, and so that's what happens. Well, after 38 days, the gloves come off. We're going to send them a notice of intent to lien. We're going to start with the phone calls, the emails, the letter strings, bank demand notice. We're going to hit them with text messages. We are going to engage your owners that are delinquent. Now, I want to be very clear. We have a culture of compliance, as I mentioned, and a lot of people are very concerned as we don't want our owners, our neighbors, our friends to be harassed. We do not harass people. We inform them, we engage them, we talk to them, and we do it in a very compliant, gentle manner and in a respectful manner. However, I will assure you that if somebody is delinquent and paying their assessments to this association, they will not live in silence. They will be reminded legally once a day, as per the FDCPA laws, the 7-7 rules, 7 contacts in 7 days. So we will let them know that they are delinquent. They will not live in silence. And in that period of time, that's when we get the lion's share of our recoveries, 55% or more. Well, we wait another 30 days and we will perfect your lien. Remember, you are a community association and the community association already has a lien on the properties. So we're not making up a lien. We are perfecting the lien of what the owner owes up until that point. And again, we will continue to call them. We will send a copy of this lien to their bank. Now that really shakes the bank up a lot. And again, after 76 to 120 days, really, we have a lot of resolved units, another 20%, almost 95%. Now, you asked me for references in Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, and Maryland, and I gave you one from each state. All right. So I hope you called those folks and you got nice information on me. Let me see. We file the lien, and then we'll send them a notice of a lien. And then for the 5% that we can't move the needle, we're going to ask you, would you like to move forward on a foreclosure? Would you like to enforce your security? Because the only other choice is they get to live there for free forever. So, but I don't send you out without information. What I'm trying to say to you here is for that $400 that gets charged to the association, but put on the delinquent owner's ledger, we will do what is known as a pre-foreclosure analysis. We will tell you how much the owner owes, how much equity is in the unit, how much if they're in bankruptcy, if they have other liens, if they have been paying their taxes. And in this case, we see that the owner has $250,000 almost of equity and owes $7,000. It is highly unlikely that they will allow this to go any further. And if it does go any further, the association's still going to win, because in a foreclosure, the association sues and sells the house. And if there's equity in the unit, somebody will buy it at the auction. So in this case, anybody who pays more than $7,152.72, they win it. Now it's in an auction, so this house will probably sell for like $200,000 should it go into foreclosure. But I doubt that it's going to go into foreclosure. But when should you not foreclose? You should not foreclose when the bank is about to foreclose. We will tell you that, and you should know that. We will not foreclose. We will not recommend foreclosure if there's a tax deed sale set. We will not recommend a foreclosure if a unit is in probate. Remember, we talked about people passing? I've seen community associations send people who are dead into collections with the attorney, and the attorney could have done a skip trace and probably did, and didn't do much about it. All right. When you don't have equity in the unit, now the board has to make a decision. If you don't have equity in the unit, and if it's negative equity over here, you have to understand that nobody will purchase this in an association lien foreclosure sale. And the title of the unit will wind up with the association. And the only way you'll be able to monetize it and recover that money is if you rent it out and collect rent, or if you wait for a sale. Now, if you wait for the bank to foreclose, well, Delaware's I don't think Delaware is a super lien state. So you'll be wiped out by the bank, because the bank's lien is superior to your lien, even though your lien was first. If you want an explanation of that, I'll give you that some other time. So this is the pre-foreclosure analysis. So again, this is important for you to have if you want to make an informed decision about a unit. Finally, should we have to go to a judicial foreclosure, which in Delaware is known as securi ficeas, we will move forward with either your attorney or our attorney. We have a network attorney in all states so that we can move forward with a foreclosure. But let me be very clear. If foreclosure action, legal action is taken, the association has to pay for an attorney. But again, I'm only talking about a small percentage of the delinquencies that you have, because we will resolve many of the others. Now, that is my collections process. And so before I get on to the technology and the reporting, I'd like to pause here for a moment and see if you have any questions about the collections process. And let me get back to the collections process, see if you have any questions.
I actually
Yes,
have a question. Do
Very
you
good.
set the threshold, or does the association set the threshold at what point you're going to get involved? Like right now, ours is $120 a month. So do we got to wait 3 months, or can we decide we're only letting you get 3 months behind, or is that something you set?
Okay. No, first of all, it's set by the board of directors. You decide when they go in. I work for you. You don't work for me. I'm not telling you anything. I'll give you some suggestions. Now, your governing documents say you can't foreclose on somebody until they're at least 3 months late. I don't come to these meetings unprepared. However, I believe that if somebody misses a month, don't send them into collections. If they miss 2 months, now it's a statement. Now they're telling you a message. Because in 1 month, checks get lost, people forget, things happen, people go on vacation. Okay. But 2 months, it's delinquent. But since the fees are so small, I would wait for 3 months, and you don't have to wait for 3 months because I'm not going right to foreclosure. So if you want to do what I always say to people, collections delayed are collections denied. And the longer a board waits, they think they're being altruistic. They think they're being kind and gentle. But the longer you wait to put somebody in the collections, the more you're doing them a disservice. And you're doing them a disservice because you're allowing them to dig a deeper hole. Thank you, Mike. I know that. Okay. So again, to answer your question, and I'm sorry I'm not being concise and brief, is you set the threshold. Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Mike, that's kind of what we agreed on, right? The 3 months when we discussed it at the finance committee last time. You're muted.
Yeah.
No, our Mike Vitri.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that's what you and I had agreed on. We said 3 months.
Okay, perfect. That's what I thought.
yeah. I think that's reasonable, especially since the assessments are so low. Because, my first shot across the bow was $400. And if somebody's, $240 delinquent, it doesn't look good, So 360, and then by the time they get it, at least it's proportionate. Okay.
Yeah, that was actually my first question and thought, was that when it's only $120 a month, we don't want to hit them with $400 in 1 month. So,
Well, the thing is, you don't want to hit them for $400 for 1 month, but after 3 months, they're telling you they're not
Yeah.
paying anymore.
right.
So I have no sympathy for them at that point, unless, of course, they have some very serious matters. And again, it's up to you. We have a program in our company by which you could set the threshold in the contract. You saw it in the contract, David. It's in Schedule C or Schedule B. Anyway, it sets a threshold. The threshold works like this. Let's say it's $120 a month, and we will know when somebody goes delinquent because we have all 660 of your residents or homes on our platform. So when somebody hits $360, we will tee them up for collections, but we will not put them in collections automatically. We will send you an email and a list of everybody who we're teeing up for collections because we're going to wait 2 weeks. Then we're going to wait a week. And then after our first letter, a week passes, we're going to ask you again, say, next week, this one's going into collections. Now, if they subsequently pay, then they'll fall out of the collections queue. But we will send them into collections if you don't say anything after 2 weeks. If you want that. If you don't want to have that automatic system, let us know. Or just write 0, or don't write 0, put NA or something in there. But I'll tell you, if you don't have a meeting every month, then you're going to let people slide for many months. If you have a meeting every month and you could pass a resolution, put this one, that one, that one, that one in the collections, that's fine. But if you set a policy and you don't have meetings, well, then business is conducted as usual and as normal in your association. Does that all make sense to everybody? You can nod or say no, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That's good. Okay. Any other questions?
How long of a contract do we have to sign with you? Or is it like every 3 months we reevaluate? Do we got to do it for a year?
30-day out. We don't want to work with anybody who doesn't like us. And so far, everybody's liked us. Okay? So we have not been terminated ever in 6 years. So, and in the community association industry, you don't know how unusual that is. I don't know if any of you are in this industry. So if there's no more questions on the collections process, let me go into the data. Everybody
Actually,
loves data. Oh,
Yeah.
still? Go ahead,
Yeah,
David.
we do have two questions here. One question I have, there is and I believe we're doing it right now. When we get to a point, we get a judgment against them for just a debt judgment. And I know in the state of Delaware, they showed us how that could be done fairly simple, where you can then garnish their wages and so forth. Is that anywhere in this process here?
No, because, and I'll tell you why. And David, I sent you my book, so you didn't read my book because if you would
Well,
have read my book, you'd
it
see.
talks about the exclusion, how many exclusions are and how tough it is to get. But I wanted to hear
Oh, okay,
you
so you
talk
did
about
read the book. All right, let me give you a couple of reasons why money judgments stink. And the lawyers in New Jersey and Delaware love money judgments because they make money and they don't collect anything. And I'll tell you why it stinks. Reason number one, all of the debt that somebody owes an association is what is known as in rem. It runs with the land. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Now, your governing documents speak of a doctrine called joint and several liability. Do you remember reading that in the governing documents?
I do not, but I will trust you.
All right. Joint and several liability means that if Michael is delinquent and he sells me his house and he owes the association $5,000, I have to pay that $5,000 or Michael has to pay that $5,000 if we want clear title, right? Now, so when there's a purchase, a sale, then the association is made whole. That's if you haven't gotten a money judgment. When you get a money judgment, that portion of the money judgment does not run with the land. Now it becomes a personal obligation known as in persona. So let's say Michael sold me his house but had a money judgment for $5,000. I don't have to pay that $5,000, either does Michael. You understand? That's number one, reason number one. Reason number two, go and try and get a writ of garnishment. Go and try and find somebody. You got to go back into court. More work for the attorneys. They love work. They are the hardest working people in the world. For $350 an hour, I'd be the hardest working person in the world. So now you got to get a writ of garnishment. You got to chase them around. It doesn't work. And three, the money that they owed is secured by your right to foreclose. So why would you get a money judgment and then chase after their paycheck when you could get a foreclosure and take their property? Now, I'm only saying this because you have 126 days plus another 45 days when you have your notice of intent to foreclose. That's fair. I don't have a guilty conscience about foreclosing on somebody after a situation like that. Okay? So that's why money judgments are not good for you. All right? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
All
Ready?
right. Another
All right.
question. According to Delaware law, anytime we receive a payment, it first has to go towards assessment. And I'm
Right.
wondering how that fits in with your $400.
Very good. Very, very good question. I've read the Delaware statutes, and I've read your governing documents. Your governing documents say that every payment has to be applied first to assessments, then to special assessments, then to late interest, late fees, collection costs, and attorney costs. That's how it is, and that's how we will apply it when we do our collections. However, we have deferred our fees to the association. So when there is a payment done, we will take our money first. Even though the application of payment, we will do the application of payments as per statute and your governing documents, but we will offset it. We will take out our $400 first. So let's say somebody owes $2,500 and we get a check for $400. We get a check for $400. You're not going to see a dime of that. That's going to come to us. On the next payment, if they send $400, that goes to you. And the next, to you. We're at risk. So first money in belongs to us. And I want to be very clear about that. So that's why I'm glad I have this on a recording. Okay?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So any other
And-
questions?
Yeah, so so Mitchell, so that means in theory, if someone owes $2,500, the last $400 on our side is gonna be your fee. So we're gonna collect your fee last.
You're going to collect our fee last, but I'm going to
Right.
take my money
You're
first.
taking it first.
Yes,
So
sir.
when we process everything, we have to take it off of their regular payments first and leave your charge last.
Right. Well, we'll be maintaining the ledger for you until it comes to a zero budget. When somebody's in collections, we maintain the ledger, not your management company. But your management company has a portal, has a access to our portal. And if the finance committee wants it too, I don't mind, as long as you don't do anything actionable on it. The only one who should really do something actionable on it is one person, either designated by the board or the management company. Okay, and the board is the one who calls that. So we will maintain the ledgers, and we will make all the adjustments and disbursements on the ledgers. And of course, we advise your management company. And let's say they need to do their P&L every month. Well, they'll just have to look at our ledgers to see what's owed, and hopefully they're astute enough to maintain the ledgers in parallel with our ledgers. Now, I will tell you, we can pull data from Vantica. Next year, we'll be able to push this data back into Vantica. But right now, we can't do that. We don't do that. Okay?
Okay.
Now, but there
So
are
we just have to
existing,
watch how we apply it on our side.
No, we're going to do all the
Yeah, he-
applications. We're going to do it.
Yeah, but it's gonna get put on into our program because you guys can't import it to us yet.
Right, but all they have to do is pick up the ledger from our portal, and I'll show you the portal in a minute, okay?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and they have to pick up the ledger. David, you wanted to ask something?
I've got one last question myself, and
Sure.
that is, we've got several accounts out here right now that are $5,000 or $10,000 that have gotten very big.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be doing anything with those, or are those kind of?
Sure,
Oh,
sure.
okay.
You can't scare me. I've got this week 2 lots in California worth $10 million we just collected. Okay,
All right.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, you should see the fines and violation, the fines on that one. That was a beauty. Okay, sometimes you win, sometimes you don't make money. All right, in the portal, available to the board of directors. If you want to have access to the portal, or it's at your manager's office, and we can subscribe the finance committee and the board of directors to get this report, which is in real time, live. Every touch, every call, every contact, message, email, text is memorialized here. Not just memorialized here, but it's actually here. Proof of mailings are here. The letters are here. Every phone call that comes in and goes out, by the way, we call, is recorded. So if somebody says they were spoken to in an irreverent manner, let's listen to the call together. And you can download it and send it to them and tell us what was irreverent. Nothing's irreverent from our side, because being difficult with debtors is a very expensive vice in this country. It's highly regulated, and we would get sued all day long. So everything is here. So as I like to say, it's a history, not a mystery. But there's more to it than that. If somebody has a transfer of property ownership, in other words, somebody buys a property and somebody sells, we'll know about it and we'll tell you about it. And what's great about that is your community, people will come in and out and not tell you. And therefore, the management company loses out on transfer fees, and you guys lose out, and I read your governing documents, on your capital contributions. A lot of people do that. This is a very common thing. They will quit claim deed and do an under the table deed. You won't know who's living in unit 5784 West Elm Street. Okay. So we will have that for you. We will know if the bank is foreclosing. We will know if there's a tax deed sale. If the bank does foreclose, we will know if there is a surplus, and we will petition the court for the benefit of the association for said surplus. Now, if you're working with an attorney who is not a collections company, but merely a security interest enforcer, when the bank forecloses, they will send you their bill and their job is done. They will not look for a surplus. And why? Because they got paid. Me, I didn't get paid. And Mrs. Drimmer insists that I come home with a paycheck every week. So we will look for the surpluses, for the foreclosure surpluses and petition, and for the tax deed surpluses so that we can make the association whole again. Another report is the disbursement report. Once again, this can be delivered to you by subscription via email, or you can have it in real time and see it, have your management company. It's right there. If you have access to this portal, you'll be able to see all the disbursements. And truth be told, when my marketing department was putting this together, I told them to find a nice big fat check, so that's 110,000. I wanted to wow you folks. But actually, the best way to get your money into your bank account is through an ACH, because a check goes in the mail for 3 days, it sits on a desk for 2 days, it floats for 3 days, and then the bank thinks about it and then lets you spend it. ACH, Thursday, boom, once a month, we will fund your delinquencies. This is how your management company will send units into collections. You see, all these units are from this condo. These are not in collections. These are their balances, but they want to send this one, this one, this one, this one, click, 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 add to collections. You've got nothing else to do. Your management company will thank you for engaging us, or they will not thank you because they love their lawyers so much. Cash flow. We will have projections. We will get people on payment plans, and we will have projections, and we will be able to tell you what the cash flow scenario looks like. And again, in a new community like yours, it's a lot of questions. You're the finance committee. I do not admire your positions because you don't know what expenses you have, and a lot of things are being kept. Developers love to keep things mysteries from the owners. Let me tell you, you will find when they're gone for good, a lot of stuff floats to the top, if you know what I mean. Okay. Now, this is one of my favorite features. This is our owner portal, where an owner can actually log on, look at their balance, make a payment, look at the governing documents, dispute a debt, or even build a payment plan. Now, let me show you what that looks like. A resident will get on and they'll go, they owe $29.29. They'll go 1 month, 2 months, 3, 4, 5, and then they'll decide. But I want to be very clear that we will take into consideration what comes due during the period of their payment plan. And as far as the payment plan is concerned, you, the board, are the ones who will give us how much time you will allow for payment plans. Now, I have to tell you, somebody who's in the hole for 10 grand, I'm thinking a 12-month payment plan. When you told me, when I looked and I saw that your assessments are $1,200 or $1,500 a month, I said to myself, maybe they'll want to go for a 6-month payment plan. But I don't know how bad your delinquencies are. If you got some real heavy ones, you'd rather have them at least a good shot at hoping to pay them off at 12 months. 18 months, I believe, is a little too long, but this is up to you. By the way, something very interesting. Should somebody log on to this and they're playing around or looking at the numbers, and then they don't make a payment, they don't engage a payment plan, guess what? They log off and that sends a message to the system. The system generates an email, sends it right out to them, and generates a ticket to the caller, to our customer service center, and we'll prioritize that ticket so that they get called first thing the next morning. So while they have the notion in their mind and perhaps the money in their pocket, they will be reached before they leave their home that morning or whatever. We'll try and get to them as soon as possible. I kind of like that. And again, you already have my agreement. I think I sent you a new one because I gave
Mitchell,
you a
I got a
23
question
when-
for you.
Yeah, sure.
When someone's in collections, are they going to pay you directly through a check,
Yes.
or are they able to pay online?
Oh, they could pay online. They could pay online. They could pay by check. They could pay by
Yeah.
ACH. They could pay by
And
credit
let's-
card.
And are they able to set it up? Like, let's say they do a 6-month plan. Are they able to tell you, okay, on the 20th of every month, for the next 6 months, take out $200, whatever the number is? They'll be
I'd be
able
a
to do all
foolish
that?
man I'd be a foolish man if I didn't allow for recurring payments like that, Michael.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, sir.
all right, good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Actually, that brings a question to my mind. Would they still be able to go into their Vantica portal and make a payment?
No.
Okay.
One of the things that we will tell your management company is to shut off the lockbox and to shut off the electronic payments. And if they call the management company or if they call you, first of all, let me give, I'm a manager. I've been doing this for a lot of years. If somebody walks up to you and says, David, Michael, Sandra, Tiffany, Maxine, Gwen, why'd you put me in the collections? The answer is this. First answer is number one. A board meeting has not been convened. I am a civilian. I have the right to the quiet enjoyment of my home. Please leave me alone and come to the next meeting or talk to the manager. That is the absolute correct answer. But if you wish to answer them a little bit, you could say to them, you put yourself in collections, and if I were to talk to you about your collections issues, I would be violating your rights under the FDCPA. Have a lovely day, sir or madam. Okay? And that's how it should go. I like the first answer best. You're a civilian, and you don't, because if people keep bugging, I bet you people bug all of you if you're on the board, don't they? They come up to you all the time. Oh,
Sure.
Nobody's answering. Yeah. should not happen. People should be a little more considerate. All right. I believe
actually have
that Tiffany, go ahead, Tiffany.
I actually have two questions. So, David, you may know this, but is Premier set up to accept ACH payments
Yes.
through? Okay. And
Yeah.
then once it goes into collections, would the property manager still be able to speak with them, or would we have to refer them to you?
No, if they're in collections, first of all, let me answer your question that David answered. We don't send an ACH to the management company. We deposit the ACH directly into your operating account. Okay? The management company has nothing to do with us, except, they need to cooperate with us. So we would ACH it directly into yours. Now, what was the second question? I'm a little older. I forgot.
My question was, I after they enter into collections and we turn them over to you.
Oh, right. Can you speak to them?
And should we be speaking to them, or should they really be speaking to you guys?
Right. You should not be discussing their monetary account with us, their owing, their delinquency. Do not discuss that with them at all. That violates their rights under the FDCPA and does present a certain amount of liability to you, which is covered by the D&O, but you don't want to go there. But if they want to talk to you about a leak roof, or a sinkhole, or they don't like the towels in the gym, of course they could talk to you. But again, as I said earlier, should be at the proper venue, a meeting. And if they got complaints about something, they should go to the manager, not to you. You're a board of directors. Too many boards of directors micromanage, and then you really shouldn't be doing that.
That was my question. Should the property manager be talking about that, or should we just refer them to you as our collection agency was my question.
Well, refer them to us. Refer them to
Okay.
us if they have say, and we answer the phone and we respond to our emails. As David can tell you, we're very reactive and we're very responsive. Okay, so that's that. So let me speak. Tiffany had asked earlier about our contract. You already have a copy of it. Easy terms. We're out in 30 days. Cause or no cause. It's 2.5 pages. It's very simple. And if you have any questions about it, I'd be glad to answer them at this time. And that's my story, folks. And as we say in New York, I'm sticking to it.
I'm just curious, what's Schwartz Vase? Is that your
Okay.
parent company?
Very good. No, Excella is a technology company. I have a partner who's from Guatemala, and Excella is what we named the technology company because his grandmother comes from Quetzaltenango, Guatemala. So then he says to me, "You get to name the collections entity when we went into business together." So I said, "Well, I'll name it after my grandmother's village, and that was Mojibojec, Poland. And it didn't Mojibojec collection agency didn't sound so good, so we used my grandmother's maiden name, Schwartz Vase. That's what she was. She was Irene Schwartz Vase. Okay. And so I named it after my grandmother because he named it after his grandmother's village. The things that happen in life. What can I say? And we wholly own Schwartz Vase. It's not an issue. Okay. Anything else? David, I always have to plug my book. Give everybody a copy. If anybody wants a copy, once you sign up, you're entitled to unlimited copies of my book, The Art of Collections for Community Associations. David got the first free copy. The rest of you can get all free copies as well. I got to plug my book. Nobody's reading it except my mother.
Now, I will say, I know Maxine earlier today had a pretty long series of questions, but I don't know if she wants to ask them now or if we all want to discuss them amongst ourselves and then present them to you in writing later.
Sure. Either way, Maxine, the floor is yours.
I think we should discuss it as a group and then decide what we want to ask and add any questions or delete any.
That's fine.
I'm okay
That's
with
fine.
Yeah, Maxine, I think that's a good idea. I think we all should meet and then we can come up with a bunch of
Sure.
questions for them.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we could have another meeting. Believe me, I understand you're volunteers. This is not necessarily the industry that you grew up in. And so you want and should take very deliberate, careful steps in everything you do. There's a lot of characters out there in this industry that take advantage of community associations. And that includes a lot of lawyers too, but don't get me started on lawyers. Okay. Lawyers don't like me and I don't like them. But in community associations, you need lawyers because your association is nothing more than a creature of statute. And remember that. Remember, your lien on your homes and your properties was established even before the properties were built. So it is a creature of statute because in the Articles of Incorporation and the Declaration, they established a lien. So the lien was established even before the properties were built. So you are a creature of statute. Okay. Any other questions, or can I let you go now, or do you want to let me go, or whatever?
Is everybody good?
I'm
All right.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Thank you very much. So everybody, good night and God bless and stay well.
All
Bye-bye.
right, thank you.
Thank
Good night.
you. Good night.
Thanks. Bye.